Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Well, it's morning for me at least. It has been a long time. Uh, it's been maybe almost a couple of months. So welcome back if you haven't been watching stuff, and welcome in if you are new to the channel. My nephew and my cousins stopped by in July, and they stayed for a couple of weeks collectively. So I've had a lot on my docket to do, and I did. This unfortunately was not one of the items I could put on the docket. But we are back now. There's also been external things that have been affecting my record schedule, so wasn't really feeling it because of those external things. So I've kind of got that all sorted now, and we are back on Valheim, taking a nice chill cruise out here. Figure this would make a nice time to make some explanations. So glad you found your way back, and I'm glad I found my way back as well. We will be starting Borderlands 4 in about just under a month now, maybe about 3 weeks. Borderlands 4 is set to release in September 12th of this year, 2025. So we will be playing some of that. Sadly, Dune Awakening has kind of gone on my boycott list. I don't really remember if I recorded. I don't think I recorded it, and I don't know if I actually made some videos on that. No, it can't have been recorded. I was not able to record at the time. So yeah, I was doing some farming early morning just after moving day, which is Monday. For those of you who are not familiar with the terms, the popular terms, I should say. And oops, 1 second. We run aground. Let's make sure we're going on the path here. So we are trying to head to Motor as I brake my ship because I forgot to put on the brakes. Anyway, I was farming on moving day like I always do, and the server I'm on is usually very chill. So it was no problems. Has been no problems, and in fact there was no problems. Farming a nice large ringmouth big spice bloom, and basically all of a sudden, and I saw it, and I was just being too trusting. I break my own rules about other players. I'm minding my own business. I see this guy take off far off on one side of the spice bloom. I didn't think too much about it. I was there first, so I landed, and these other two guys came by, and lots of spice, right? Big space. There's a big space. And the dude just starts unloading his rockets on me. So he downs me because I was only wearing my let's put up the full sails here. I was wearing only my still suit and my light boots so I could maximize my farming. And he just unloaded about 10 rockets on me before I could actually react and get into my Thopter. So my Thopter took some damage. I took a lot of the damage, so I was down, like I said. And I picked myself back up, jumped in my Thopter. We took off. For a few moments, we did lose this guy. This guy was really junk. This guy was garbage. Like, he took a few moments to. I'm pretty sure he was on an assault Thopter, and he at that point in time, assault Thopters really didn't have too much of a penalty for having rockets, and unlike the scout ornithopter, it can do boosters and rockets. So he had both. I didn't. I'm not playing this game to fight. For those of you who know, Oh, I might not survive this trip. But for those of you who know, I was an avid PvPer back in the day. And that's still in me somewhat today. So I kind of don't. I don't. I don't take kindly to PvP, and I kind of want to get revenge. Because if you set it off, I will go and get you. Um, a friend of mine's and I used to go play some Destiny 2, and we would go into the battleground part of Destiny 2, and she would always say, "Hey, why don't you use the gun that you're good at?" Which was the semi-automatic guns, not necessarily the scope ones. I don't normally like to scope, and I told her it's because then everything would die. um, so she understood, but every so often she would ask for that because, um, the other team is doing really well, and our team, well, wasn't. So she would be like, "Why don't you just take out your scope?" Every so often, though, I would because, well, I felt like people were acting cocky or whatever that is, and I would really like to put them in their place. But I wasn't really playing it to dominate. I was just playing it to have fun. A lot of the times we were just playing it to get the missions completed for the dailies. Anyway, long story. Too late. Um, yeah, I'd have to take out my skill set, and we would dominate. Not always. Sometimes the team is just not that good. And I think there were teams of 5 or 6, and we consisted only 40% of the team at best. So, 40% versus, let's say, an organized squad is not an easy task. She was pretty good herself. So, 40% versus 100%, or even 80%. That's 2 on 1. That's not easy to overcome. And then you always get the random chance of those randoms not being thoroughly junk. So anyway, long story again, too late. But I I have a habit of, oops. I have a habit of not liking, well, of having to get revenge. Okay, and I'm not poor at it. Okay, this is becoming a bigger problem than I'd like to think it is. Actually, you know what? We're past it. It's fine. So the problem I had was, okay. So this guy, we'll back to present day. This guy, he's shooting rockets at me the whole time. I've got about 6,000 meters to get back to my base, which is in the safe zone. And it would have took about 30 seconds once we passed the safe zone boundary to I need to get around this somehow. Okay, we'll go this way. It would have took 30 seconds for me to lose my PvP flag. Let's get repaired first. So I started to get hopeful. At first I thought, okay, I'm dead because there's no way I'd be able to avoid this guy. This guy got the real drop on me, and I was not keen on that. So here we are, trying to scramble for base with only, so a assault ornithopter's got 6 wings. Okay, he had already damaged all of the wings and almost broken 2 of them. Actually, I think in fact he had broken 2 of them at this point already as I'm flying back. And that is also because I foolishly didn't realize how much damage rockets did. And my wings were already at 50%. I was trying to maximize the amount of wing usage I get out of these before I had to put new ones on. So I'm crippling along, and he's slowly damaging everything else. He had to have shot at least 60 to 100 rockets. Now, I say he's junk. Now, rockets, mind you, don't lock on. Well, that's what's supposed to happen. I don't know if that's how it is in game because I've never used them yet. But rockets are usually dumbfire. There's no guidance or anything like that. So there are missiles in the game, but I'm not familiar with the lock-on system if there is one. But I have made them because now they are a lot expensive. Back then they weren't. So there's been a lot of concessions against all of this, and they're heavier. But yeah. Anyway, so he had to have shot at least 60 to 100 rockets. Now, I can't tell because majority of them missed. Now, here I am struggling along with no thrust, with very little mobility, and very little lift, okay? Like, the wings are the ultimate mode of locomotion of these things. Once these break, you pretty much are dead in the water, which eventually he did get me to. Of course, bear in mind, most of my wing parts were less than 50% at maximum repair. So he only had to do 50% damage to all my 6 wings, and they'd all be broken. Like my rudder right there. But he eventually did when so remember, I was about 6,000 meters away from home, which is relatively far, but not crazy far. It wasn't 10,000 meters, right? So I was 6,000 meters away. I got all the way within 2,200 meters before he forced me to land because all my wings were busted, and I think my engine and my power unit failed. And well before that, let's say a good 2 minutes before that, because in combat, 2 minutes is a long time. 2 minutes before that, I lost my thrusters. So I'm struggling to stay afloat in the air, and I see all these rockets whizzing by. And every so often one hits. And that's why I say he was garbage. I'm sure. Now, I'm not a flight sim guy, but I'm sure that if I was following somebody moving at a quarter of the speed that I was, because he shouldn't have been able to catch up to me, according to the rules of rocket launchers. Rocket launchers are supposed to slow you down by a significant amount. That was a patch put in so they could, people couldn't just farm and kill you at the same time. Unfortunately, you can with the assault, however, and that's why that's why the 60%, or I don't remember what it was. It's slower. It makes you slower. It's heavier, so it's slower. But he took that long to get me. And then, so at this point in time, as I'm kind of crash landing, I type into chat. I tell him, hey, you know what? Peace. I don't know what I did. Peace. Doesn't respond. Of course not. Because most people who are bullies hide behind their anonymity. And ultimately, I'll get to that in a bit, but ultimately that's what my problem was. Not the fact that I got ganked and we fought. Well, we didn't fight. I got picked on. It's the fact. Anyway, we'll get to that in a bit. So I jump out of my copter and I start heading towards the nearest landmass, which I already was because I knew this was inevitable. I had very low mobility and very low lift and very low flight time. I was overheating like crazy. And for those of you who don't know, in Dune, everything takes heat. unless you're doing vulture mode. Vulture mode means you just gliding. So you get to a certain height and you just turn off everything and you glide down to the bottom or down to wherever you're going, or you just glide. Very minimal power needed, very minimal heat generated, and very minimal durability loss on your items, on your parts. So I finally get down to head for the nearest thing, which I'm surprised he took so long to kill me. Again, garbage, complete garbage. This dude probably was a 8-year-old or a 12-year-old fool acting out because his mommy told him he had to get off the computer, perhaps. Because I got no response, I got no reasoning, and I would have been cool with the guy if he said, "Oh, sorry, dude, wrong person. I thought you were the guy who killed me the last." Whatever. I don't know. I was farming at the time, like literally farming. And anyway, so he ends up blowing me up, and I died. So I had a full boat of spice, which is about maybe 6 or 7 thousand spice, give or take a few hundred, and I had about 600 on me, I think, give or take 100. And so I respawned back at my base in the deep desert. Oops, 1 second. I feel like I'm at the wrong place. Actually, I think we gotta go back now. So respawn at my base. I had my scout ornithopter with me. We're not getting any traction here, so let's do this. So I flew back out, since it's only 2,200 meters. I flew back out to where he was, thinking he left, and I could go repair my thopter, which I brought some. I already had repair tools and repair wire, and I could salvage it, and it'd be no problem, and I wouldn't have cared. But no, no, no. As I get closer, I see him hovering over my thopter and my dead body. So I was like, okay. Of course, mind you, I still don't have any rockets. I totally did not intend to go PvP in this game. And although it is a PvP game, it is optional, and the devs have made it optional. Or so it would seem. So I had deemed, I'm going to try and snipe this guy out of the sky. If he wants a fight, again, remember, the revengeful me came out. And I had one of my guns. So I looked for a spot I could land, and he'd be kind of in range, because he looked at me. I flew past him like I was somebody else looking at the stuff. And he stayed there. So I figured I'd land, I'd get some sniper shots on, and maybe I'd get my revenge on him. I couldn't find any land masses. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, the deep desert is a big ocean of sand. Sandworm everywhere. Wherever the open sand is, sandworm can get you, eventually. There's a lot of pockets of land that are like sand islands. So I figured I'd land, and I could shoot him from the landmass. He'd have to find me first, which wouldn't be that hard, considering if I sniping him, I'd have to be within range, and he'd go to the nearest landmass. So it shouldn't take long for him to find me. So I expected to maybe die, depending on how much damage. Again, I've never shot at a thopter with a regular gun before. So depending on how much damage these things did, I might die again. So I couldn't find a spot, so I figured I'd just leave. Actually, no, I didn't. I flew around a little bit, trying to see if I could get to my thopter, but then a sandworm came and ate it, which at the time, they did not implement the sandworm takes a longer while to get to your thopter. Oh, look at that. There's a lot of... oh, I see. So, at a certain point, I did decide to just leave. And I did. I wrote everything off as loss. I went home. I built a new assault. Now, what really pushed me to the quitting point was the fact that I would never find who this guy was. Even if I built rockets and put them on my assault and went after this guy, I would be potentially and more than likely attacking some innocent. Not to sound all righteous or anything, but that's kind of how my mind works. Don't I don't PvP because in case I accidentally kill the wrong person, or yeah, I'm somewhat thoughtful when it comes to that. So sue me. And that's also why I usually die in PvP first off, because I don't shoot first. I I don't I don't want to be that guy. So that's what kind of pissed me off to the point where I'm done. And that's why we're no longer. It was harder to. I know I stopped recording on that anyway. It was hard to not make boring content, which this probably is. But you know what? This is the welcome back video, and this is the explanation why we're playing Valheim now and waiting for Borderlands. But now, if Funcom would listen, what they could do to remedy all of this would be that what they could do is anytime someone does a multiple consecutive strikes against somebody, you get flagged as an attacker, and everybody who wants to uphold peace can do so. And then you get flagged. Everybody knows where you are, who you are, and what you did, and that at least will give you or give the player who got attacked the option to turn on a flag for that person. Okay, Motor's up here somewhere. He should actually be, or she should actually be right here somewhere. Motor. Question mark. I'm looking at a external seed reader, so that would make Elder right about here actually. So pretty close, my estimations. Anyway, that's gonna be all that we're gonna talk about. Okay. So that's why we're playing Valheim, and that's why we're playing some of the other games. This is actually oh, it's like, what is happening now? And I am actually running out of everything. Get him. Get him. Oh, shoots, I missed. And it's not because I got ganked. Oh, my goodness. Woohoo! It's not because I got ganked. It's because I can't possibly gank him back. Maybe we should repurpose that base right there. Okay, there's these little wyverns here. Maybe I should build a portal already. So I'm sorry for those of you who don't like Valheim. It is a really awesome survival building game, survival craft builder. Now I am, and those of you who do know, I am totally in love with looter shooters. I mean, I love me a good survival craft, but looter shooters are like my bread and butter. Like the Division, I enjoyed. I mean, Division's got to be my best. I mean, it ages, but it's that was one of the best options. Destiny 2 was also really a good option. I really enjoyed playing that with my ex when we're still together. It was really fun. Um, I Borderlands was one and two. I remember playing it one and two. Three, I guess I didn't play too much. I swear I did, but according to my account, I don't have a higher level character. So I feel like it's got deleted. Um, and to some extent, games like Path of Exile, it's not really a looter shooter, but you do get loot, and Diablo. Um, so looter shooters are my go-to. Now, soloing also is a thing, and that's one beautiful part about that game too. Um, you can it's a co-op. I love co-ops nowadays because you don't gotta deal with people. But now I must have misread this map. Am I on the wrong mountain, perhaps? But Borderlands is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be the first time it's an open world game, and there is uh, it seems more Destiny-esque than I'd like it to be because I did there we go. I did enjoy. I'm gonna have to go find eggs. Well, I'm not doing all the bosses right now anyway. So, um, uh, I did enjoy the multi car. Oh look, there's a thing right there too. That's a mission for Hildir. Um, yeah, I missed the multi-person cars, the ones you can jump on the turrets. Apparently, that's not in the game anymore, sadly, and that's why it's more Destiny-esque. Yeah, you all got your individual bikes, scooters, or whatever you want to call them, and yeah, that's that. All right, so that's gonna be September 12th. Come on, fellows, come and have fun with the plant. We running out of everything though. All right. What's all the glowies on the ground? Oh yeah, sorry, it's already marked. What's that? What is that? Well, let's try and build something here. Let's take over this building actually. Oh, it's rocks. I see. Well, let's get rid of the floor. That's good enough. Let's see. There's wolves. Wolves can kill me still yet. Here. All right. I'm gonna put this on pause real quick, and we'll make this place a little more defensible. Let's see. How about a nice vantage point on top of this rock here? All right, so we fortified it by making a little ditch here, which apparently doesn't work too good. Which is why we moved out of here and moved into down here. So we built this small little structure here. And I might actually knock down some of this, just in case they can climb that. Don't need to make it easy access for them. shore those structures up just a little. Alright, so let's get out of the storm. Now this is the little humble abode here. Now there does seem to be a... We can make one of these. There does seem to be a fairly large... Perfect. Oh, it's not that perfect. There seems to be a golem that spawns nearby, so that's why I kind of need this. Fireplace going. We can always go get some more rock, but I feel like not rock, wood. So I feel like this fire is being snuffed out, so we need to give it a little more air. So, problem is we lose all the wood that we just put into it. Maybe we'll go to small fire. Because actually that would... Well, there is an opening there. Let's see if it puts itself out. Actually, that does seem... That seems good. We'll let it sit for a bit. Smoke is piling up there, so... Let's see if we can modify that a little bit. Oh, that's not going to want to stay there. That might actually be good enough. Shucks. Did it snap? Why are these not... Something's wrong. Oh, they're halfway, I see. Now we don't have enough rocks. Actually, you know what? I had rocks inside the chest right there. Well, whatever. We went and got these. So the fire doesn't seem to be going out. So, good job for that, I guess. There we go. That should do it. We won't have enough wood to max it. But it is allowing the smoke to escape. Perfect. And that's going to be that. Let's go grab some wood. I got to go back to the other realm so we can fix the tools. So we'll mark motors. Mark. Oh, we can mark it on the map. Actually. Get rid of that. Next stop is going to be the Elder here, which should be. Actually, it might be up here somewhere. Let's get rid of that. Alright. I'm going to go home and make some preparations. Oh, let's do the fire. Drop this in here. So, the reason I needed that was because that golem kept spawning. I did need to... I'm looking at this, seeing how I can make the stairs work a little better. I did need to make a campfire so it marks this area around here that he cannot come here. Oh, let's go grab those and those. So we should be set here now. I'm gonna get some housekeeping stuff out of the way, and we'll be on our way to the next spot. Weird, whatever that is, right? What? Sun shafts? Do I have that setting on? Yes, I am now running on a 5070 Ti. So we do have some of these settings a little higher. I don't have sun shafts on. Why is... I guess that must be particle lights, I guess. Not bad. Alright. Well, we'll be right back. Alright, so we're ready to go. We need to get back down to the boat. Because I can't swim across that gap. We need to head south that way. So the hard part is I don't have a feather cape on this character yet. Or anymore, I should say. We'll have to carefully, cautiously make our way down. Because I can still die. But if I had the feather cape, how awesome would that be? We just fly all the way down this hill. Now, back to Borderlands. For those of you not familiar, Borderlands franchise has been... There's been quite a bit. Tiny Tina's, Mad Moxie's, all that stuff. Besides the 1, 2, and 3 that have been released. So that's a nice franchise, and it's I don't believe any of them were live service games. They've all been complete games. So, oh, I mean, quite pricey, yes, but well worth the price most times. So that's coming on the September 12th. Oh, okay. That'll keep you busy, buddy. Follow me all the way from the top, huh? Let's get out of here. Let's not hit our tail. Bow, aft. On the rocks there. Okay, so we need to get around this here. I think the Elder's actually going to be more over here. We'll see. But I think that's going to be the video, though. Thanks for watching and listening to the rant. Do skip. I hope if you didn't like that, you skipped ahead a little. But since you're still here, thanks for sticking around, and we will be back maybe intermittently. There's still some external stuff that are happening, so I might still get a pop in here or there. But we will. I hope to definitely start recording much more when we get to September 12th and Borderlands releases. So until then, we'll be here, but maybe not as much as we used to. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Um, we'll see how people like the Valheim. I promise next time there's going to be more gameplay and less soapbox. But for now, that's what it is. Thanks for watching. Stick around for more. And go check out some of my more earlier videos. They should all still be on the channel. Some of them are, well, I was younger. Let's just say that. So be aware of that. Not some of them are marked for youth, but not all of them. Which actually was a problem because then you couldn't put any comments. So nobody writes comments anyway, though, so it doesn't really matter too much. But those of you who have, appreciate it. I believe I've got responses to all of you. So, and if I didn't, I apologize. I probably got the notification and I was at work and I was meaning to, but I probably slipped my mind since I can't do it right away. But thanks for all of your support, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.